Star Citizen is trying to reinvent itself, and it's been a long time coming. They want to drop hundreds, if not thousands, of locations on a single planet and make every single one match the local biome and faction. The plan is kinda bonkers. The goal is to spread players out, build more localized gameplay so you have to travel less, and encourage more exploration throughout the game. This is Genesis, something that is very misunderstood about Star Citizen. But today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about what the CTO of the company is calling a fundamental shift in the game that may land this year, and what the Nix system will look like after it does. Thank you for coming to My Tomato Talk. Let's start with what is Genesis, because it's the label that's been confusing everyone since 2024. Genesis is not Planet Tech. Nix 1 will not include all of Genesis, only part of it. This is because, as introduced, Genesis is actually a laundry list of changes from Planet Tech to Dynamic Storms to Starchitect to planetary AI navigation. Today, we're talking about Planet Tech and Starchitect, just the first two phases of Genesis. See, earlier this year, Benoit Beauséjour, the CTO at CIG, confirmed that they were working on delivering more than just the originally believed Planet Tech in that first delivery we were going to get.
Genesis and Nix 1, we've kind of conjoined development on three separate things in order to ship the best Nix experience that we could offer. Obviously, Genesis is part of that, and the Planet Tech that's behind it, but also the Starchitect work. And the third one is what we call the population control / population manager. So currently you have AIs in the game, right, that are sometimes hand placed, sometimes dynamically spawned. So population management and control is a third component of this. I'm excited about this because as we're working towards Nix 1, we're aligning all those three things into one strike team to deliver that together.
So much like a lot of things added to the game, this is supposed to be coming in phases. But there's a lot more to this first phase than just more places to go. Let's dive deeper into the details of what you can expect from Planet Tech V5 on Nix 1, potentially at the end of this year. These first two phases of Genesis that we'll be seeing soon are a pretty big departure from Star Citizen's usual way of doing things. And those aren't even my words.
For those who don't know, Starchitect is a way for us to be smarter about building planets and the human populations that are on them. So settlements, buildings, distro centers, LZs, name it, right? So historically, we've placed that by hand. And so Starchitect is a way for us to give designers control over the planetary scale of how these are distributed. And it's a fairly fundamental change to how the game is made.
It's very obvious folks at CIG are excited about this initiative, not just because the Planet Tech team always seems to be doing really good work, but because this actually could change the way the game works. How many of you are tired of needing to fly back and forth between planets to complete missions? How about not feeling like you have a home area where you can reliably get all the gameplay you're looking for without traveling 10 minutes every time? I'm sure many of you would like to just have an easier time finding that specific material or harvestable you've been looking for. But there's little rhyme or reason to where things spawn in the game right now. This is their answer. Planet Tech has always existed on a 2-axis scale, measuring humidity and temperature to scatter plants, animals, and biomes. But they are expanding that data set to include soil type, sunlight, the local seed map, proximity to mountains, and even local vegetation competition. This allows you to explore and predict planet details from orbit more reliably and find the things you're looking for down on the ground when you look. And down on the ground it is even more noticeable. Tech allows for much more extreme representations of humidity and temperature, with swamps, redwood forests, and jungles. This includes new combinations of foliage to move through, new levels of scale to the art, and an easier time getting around. Yes, even rock scattering is changing with this addition. PlanetTech V5 moves away from random rocks everywhere chaos, more towards a logical system that scatters rocks near cliffs and mountains that would have naturally deposited them over time. Geology, erosion, and general topographical data is actually potentially being applied to these planets through the use of machine learning based on data from Earth, Luna, and Mars. But the old PlanetTech barely runs, right? Looking at all this is making your CPU melt, and that's another big improvement here. The terrain asset scattering will now use your GPU rather than your CPU to render. In fact, the entire terrain system has moved to the GPU with a virtual terrain texture, which they say has improved pop-in a ton and allowed for higher resolution ground textures. Now, CIG is a tech company first, and like all tech companies making improvements to their memory usage, battery technology, or screen real estate, that means they are going to fill that new space with even more features. Say hello to improved asset density. This is how we're going to get dense jungles, forests, and swamps that can be represented from a distance, flown to in real time, and shown in high detail on the ground. And this team is crazy for making it possible if it happens like this. But again, this is just the PlanetTech side of things, phase 1 of 6 of Genesis. This is the more believable part of Nyx 1. Let me show you what phase 2 has in store. Almost 3 years ago during CitizenCon, settlements were introduced for the first time, superseding outposts.
Now, as a player, it will mean a lot more to explore and do at any single individual location, with a localized and personal feeling mission types that might see you moving around a single settlement to complete objectives, or doing short hop missions between clusters of settlements on a single planet.
Since then, the company has been developing systems meant to fulfill this need. Those systems, Starchitect, the mission system, the NPC population management system, and PlanetTech V5, are now meant to create a network of physical job boards that you can find in settlements dotted across planets in the dozens and hundreds, offering unique looks into various factions, settlement types, and levels of degradation. Some may be farms with foliage specific to that part of the world. Others may be ranches that take care of the fauna found in that biome. The idea is that players will have countless locations to visit and receive missions from, trade at, and explore, rather than flying from planet to planet for entertainment. Yeah, sounds too good to be true. This was actually one of the main things Chris Roberts talked about at the end of 2025 in his letter from the chairman as something to look forward to in 2026. Something I didn't pay that much attention to because I did not catch the combination of systems in that letter. That is, PlanetTech, Starchitect, and the population management system. It only became significant a couple months later when Benoit shared that information again that we saw just earlier.
So population management and control is a third component of this. So I'm excited about this because as we're working towards Nyx 1, we're aligning all those three things into one strike team to deliver that together. So I'm excited about that because those are like three major development pieces that Star Citizen needs to scale that we're bringing in together.
All of this obviously depends on server meshing expanding. It depends on an absolute ton of assets, different types of architectural styles, different professions and game loops that can tie in at different levels, and most importantly, a simulation in the background that can maintain an ebbing and flowing economy, supposedly known as StarSim. That being said, if this worked, it would localize gameplay like Star Citizen has never seen. It would mean running mercenary combat missions in a local cave, leaving that cave with localized harvestables that the local town shop is looking for, but sells for higher off-world. Then repairing the settlement's solar panels before taking a courier mission to the nearby outpost, either via ship or vehicle. All of this exists in the game already. They are just disconnected, without any rhyme or reason, and horribly spaced out. These first two phases are the beginning of Star Citizen growing in scale and complexity, and the start of the home. With a system meant to populate a single planet with hundreds of locations, players will start to be able to define where in the game they want to call home. Maybe you prefer the nice landscape and beautiful views of Microtech and her moons. This is the beginning of the game finally making it so you don't have to fly to another system just to keep doing your bounty chain. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a while before it reaches Stanton. But this, in combination with suit lockers, hopefully coming soon, if they both end up working long term, are going to cut down a ton of time you have to spend to get through the content you want in Star Citizen. I think this is probably the big hype release at the end of the year, or at least that's what they want it to be. Planet Tech is generally the most successful part of Star Citizen, well, besides the funding model. So rest assured, this is going to be a big release. But that's really just the start. Remember, they've been working on base building as well in the background, and despite all these locations, there's still going to be plenty of space in high, low, and medium level security systems for players to explore and find places to build their own homes as well. The hype around detailed, explorable planets at this scale is pretty high. If they can properly scatter points of interest around those planets and drive player action through actual logical systems, this is going to be a success for the game. These are generally pretty big ifs. And there is one major missing component that could drag this all down. Star Citizen's AI has not proven to us it can handle wide-scale complex functions like trading and walking around planets and meeting with us. So we'll check back in with this towards the end of the year or the beginning of next year to look at how this is going, what may be happening with AI systems, and whether Phase 1 and 2 of Genesis had an effect on the game. Until then, I'd suggest subscribing if you want to learn more about Star Citizen, how it's being made, and the history of how we got here. I generally cover this game, but I am looking to start covering other game systems as well if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. I hope you learned something new in this one, and I will catch you in the next.